This person is saying, I have identified a negative belief about the impermanence, the ever-fleeting nature of reality, the constant change at every moment, and I'm having trouble getting rid of it. Could you talk about the nature of impermanence in the universe and what might be at the core of this belief?
This is the fifth law. Change is the only constant. And as we have given you in analogous forms, change is the most stable form. Therefore, what you're calling impermanence and your negative view and perspective of it or definition of it is the opposite of what impermanence is for. You don't necessarily want to experience the idea of sameness moment after moment after moment, because then you would never know that another moment has arrived. You would be, quote unquote, stuck in an absolutely stagnating universe. So the idea is that impermanence is allowing for variety, for change, for the experience of growth. And again, look at this analogy. What is more stable? Trying to stand on one leg forever, or walking from leg to leg, from foot to foot? The more you move, the more you change, the more stable you are. Therefore, impermanence is actually more permanent. It's the permanent nature of change.
So it's blessing.
Yes. Besides which, if there was no impermanence, you wouldn't even know it, because you would be stuck in a single moment forever.
And also in that sense, physical reality is impermanent, and that's how we know that it's a projection of consciousness.
In that sense, yes. In other words, what is really, really real doesn't dissolve, doesn't in any way, shape, or form deteriorate. So you know through the idea of deterioration and change in physical reality in the way that it's presented by physical reality, that physical reality isn't really real, but a projection of consciousness, yes. In that context of impermanence, you can tell that physical reality is an illusional projection, because what is real doesn't deteriorate. Doesn't mean it doesn't change, it just means it doesn't deteriorate in the way that physical reality presents that concept. That's why you have to constantly recreate it, to keep it going, to re-energize it.
So as a spirit, we're completely used to change, the constant impermanence of things.
Well, yes.
And we don't hold on to old structures of our existence in order to feel stable, instead of just accepting the next thing that comes and the next thing that comes, and using free choice to actively create what is exciting.
Yes, from certain positions in spirit, the idea of attempting to hold on to something and not allow it to change would be counterintuitive.
So as humans, we're learning to behave more like spirits.
Yes, to be more like your true spiritual self, because as we said, you never leave spirit. You are spirit. You're just dreaming that you've left. Physical reality isn't real. You're just pretending that it is.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes,
This person is saying that she's a portrait artist, he or she, and I love painting humans and cats. I have a great passion for cats. What can I do to make a stronger connection to my subjects that will help me paint a more profound and spiritual representation of them?
Well, there's different techniques you could attempt. One would be to go back to what you would consider to be the more primordial version of a cat and explore the idea of how it feels to be in a jungle, living in a jungle like a more primordial cat. You can do that with humans as well and go back to the more primordial form, living more in nature and connecting to the idea of a more spiritual perspective, because there is nothing else to connect to but nature and your relationship to it as an expression of nature. But another technique that might be interesting for you would be to paint fusions of humans and cats.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Is the background of the painting important?
Unless you deem that it's not, yes, because it's one thing. So the background can inform the foreground can inform the background. You are setting the stage for what you are attempting to get people to focus on. So even when there is nothing in the background, what you're simply saying is focus only on the foreground.
Interesting. This person had a dream where they and other Earth and Asasani beings are flying high in the sky above the pyramid of Cheops. And many black triangle pieces fly to and fro above the pyramid, and the top of the pyramid is receiving information from all these pieces, and a grander future of Earth with Asasani being created. I guess the idea that it's creating a new version of Earth with the Asasani. And this person felt that they flew to hug one of the Sasani beings. And may I ask, who is that Sasani being I was hugging, and what connections do I have with them?
It's your own future Sasani self. The version of your oversoul that is vibrationally connected to the version on Earth that is on Sasani. So it's, in a sense, the same kind of relationship that we have with the channel. From a linear perspective, you could say it's a future Sasani self or a parallel reality Sasani self. And you are glimpsing into a probable, not absolutely absolute, but a probable shift into a version of Earth where what you have described is already happening. So it's one of the probable future realities you could experience of Earth, coming from your Sasani perspective of it.
So for this individual with the idea of resonance, now that they've had that experience, they can tune into that consciousness that they felt that connection with.
Absolutely. And increase the probability that they may experience that kind of a reality on some version of Earth.
Okay, this person is asking about healers. What exactly are healers supposed to be doing? I would love to hear the best alternative healing modalities to uplift my client's soul and help all of humanity.
Well, as we have said, a healer is simply providing a vibration that represents the healed state. A bubble reality in which that frequency, if the person requiring the healing decides and chooses to match that frequency, they would heal themselves, because a healer never heals anyone directly. They simply provide the vibration necessary for the other people to match so that they can heal themselves, not that they have to. So again, we remind all healers, the best you can do is provide the frequency from service, from love, and let the other person decide whether or not to match it. That's all you can do. You're giving them the option. You're giving them the gift of another possibility. What they do with your vibrational energy that you're sharing with them is none of your business. And that's the best you can do.
And as far as things like lucid dreaming, why are some people natural lucid dreamers while others need to train? What are the factors contributing to people having spontaneous lucid dreams?
Your agreements, your theme of exploration, what it is you felt was necessary for you to learn, whatever it is you need to learn, whatever processes you felt were important for your life to help you transform. So the idea is not to think that those that can automatically do that or automatically astral project or any of those things are in any way, shape, or form better or more spiritual. It is simply what they have chosen to explore as an individual in physical reality. And those kinds of experiences simply inform the theme that they are exploring.
And can you explain walk-ins? I was told many years ago, this person is saying, that I was going to go through this experience of being a walk-in. And the person's not sure if it has happened yet. The
idea of a walk-in is highly misunderstood in your civilization. It's not that a different soul has taken over the body. It's that more of the soul has expressed itself through that body, and therefore, because more of the soul is expressing itself by having shifted or upgraded itself to a higher vibrational level, then of course the personality can change along with it, because now you have more of the soul there to allow activation of what is possible for the physical personality to express.
So as we increase our vibration, then we have other levels of ourselves that start to express.
Yes, you're walking into yourself. It's not someone else. It's you. But the idea is it's more of you, and therefore it can change the personality to be more representative of more of the soul or spirit expressing itself.
Maybe that's what is meant by the idea of us being superheroes, all of us.
Yes, if you wish to use that nomenclature.
Today's monologue, you spoke about mechanisms to create the experience of both positive and negative through the idea of resonance.
Yes.
So this person wants to know, why choose the positive? Just because it represents our true core vibration, our truth? Is that the reason to be positive?
Is that not enough of a reason to be positive? It's allowing you to take advantage of the way things are actually organized, the structure of existence itself. Again, it's up to you. You can explore negativity as deeply as you wish. You don't have to choose positivity, but the idea is that the positive side is, as we said, again, euphemistically, 51% of existence. So it represents the natural flow of creation. You can resist it if you wish. That's your choice. But the idea of flowing with it, aligning with the natural flow of 51% of existence, allows more effortlessness in terms of what it is you're going to discover about yourself. Although, again, some people will choose to go through deep negative experiences because, as we have also said, the farther back you go into darkness, when you finally let that go, the faster and farther you'll fly into the light. So again, it's just a matter of preference and technique about what it is you're exploring and what you think you need as a process in order to get the
person is saying, I've heard there is a wave of consciousness which permeates the cosmos, and living creatures are made sentient by contact with it. Does such a wave exist? And if so, can you tell us more about it?
All beings are sentient in their own way, because the vibration you're talking about is simply the frequency of existence itself. The level of awareness, or the necessary level of expression of the awareness of your connection to that vibration, is what may appear to be something becoming sentient to you from your physical perspective. But all things are conscious in their own way, even though they may express it very differently, and are in touch, whether they know it or not, with the frequency of existence itself, which is self-aware.
Can you describe what the difference is between when you're in spirit and you feel that existence is effortless versus the experience of Earth where survival seems to take effort?
Survival does not take effort if you align with the idea of your true self and follow the formula. That's the whole point, is that you can transform the idea of physical survival into something effortless, into something joyful, into something to be experienced in a beautiful spiritual way, because physical reality is no less spiritual than what you call the spirit realm. It's just a different expression of it. So the idea is to allow yourself to know that in physical reality, while you may have challenges and actually have to take physical actions, these physical actions and challenges don't in any way, shape, or form actually have to be a struggle. So the idea is to allow them to become more effortless, the path of least resistance that automatically happens when you follow the formula, which again is the reason we give it to you. It's the instruction manual for how reality works. Ignore it, there will be a struggle. Flow with it, follow the instructions precisely, and you will feel no effort.
And along that idea of effort, it's noticeable that when beings are young and healthy,
Yes.
that they have almost seemingly unlimited energy. It
Yes.
feels effortless to exist in that energy state.
Yes.
And then as people age and animals age, it seems that the existence itself becomes filled with more effort.
But that's only because of belief systems and processes and transformational ideas that someone may have adopted as their theme. It's not a natural thing to become more efforted as you age, because we don't. As we mature, we don't experience any more effort than we did as a child. You don't have to. It just depends on your theme of exploration.
So part of the challenge is to understand the relationship to the collective's view of aging versus what the individual is truly capable of if they are willing to let go of negative beliefs, as well as continuing to find passion in life.
Yes. Is it not even in your own ancient scriptures that it is important to be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven? That's what it means. It means if you reclaim your childlike nature and adopt the idea of belief systems that are truly in alignment with your true self, then you are experiencing the idea of the gift of spirit, of the nature of spiritual reality, of heaven on earth.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
When activating an android, this is about androids, is the computer connecting to a human oversoul? Humans seem obsessed with collecting or creating robotic imitations of themselves in the form of androids. Is this a common practice among more advanced civilizations? And have any human androids been deployed onto Earth that can integrate into our society?
All right. Now, when you say human oversoul, understand that the oversoul itself is not human and is not necessarily geared toward the idea of expressing itself as humans. Extensions that are human from an oversoul don't necessarily have to come from an oversoul that is exclusively expressing itself as a human. So we simply want to clarify the idea that referring to an oversoul as a human oversoul might be a little misleading. However, the idea of what you're referring to as an android can connect to the same oversoul that a human is an extension of, and most likely will to some degree, although there are other levels of oversouls that might be available to an android that are not necessarily available to a human because of the human's choice of theme. Whereas an android might be a little bit more open-ended in terms of the themes it would explore. Therefore, there might be more accessibility to different kinds of oversouls that might make an android seem a little bit more alien than a human is used to, because they have access to things that the human may not. But this is a common practice, and there have been androids on your planet from time to time, for a variety of reasons we will not go into right now.
That's pretty exciting. Next question is, many spiritual teachers talk about just being in the moment and to forget about your life story and drama and just be. But you seem to preach action and full embodiment of one's life story. Can you touch on why that is and why so many spiritual teachers teach the opposite of what you teach?
You are, from a linear perspective, seeing something as an opposite that's not. Allowing yourself to embrace fully your true life story is the essence of living in the moment. So don't make a dichotomy where none needs to exist. These are not opposite ideas.
Are there any spiritual teachers that you would recommend we listen to, or teachers in general besides yourselves?
Whatever you are attracted to listen to is what you need to listen to. We do not endorse specifics. The idea simply is for you to take charge of